Right, we're live. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Richie. And where's she gone? She's completely disappeared. The reason why we're late on the show tonight, folks, is for one very simple reason. And I cannot be blamed for this one. I normally am responsible for most of the cock-ups on the show. But tonight, I can reveal it's not my fault. We went to the hairdressers earlier, and Rose had her hair done. And, hang on, we're on YouTube. We've gone live in here as well. And literally, what's happened is she came out of the hairdressers, and she did not want to come on the show. And I'm absolutely disgracefully ashamed of her because I've said, you've got to make an appearance. People are waiting for you to come on, Rose.
Don't want to do it.
You've got to do it.
I don't want to do it.
We were live. We've just gone live.
I know, but I don't want anybody to see my hair.
Without you, the show's incomplete, darling. You need to be in the show. This isn't the Richie show.
I don't want anybody picking on me because of my hair. My kids have already laughed at me.
Well, you've just got to get on because we've got people waiting now. We're late as well. We've got a special guest, and we're Richard Inman, incredible guest on, and I can't believe.
I went in. Let me tell you something. Right, I went in,
and
I just said I wanted my curls neatened, and because I'm called Rogue because I have my grey streak. I just felt that actually I would like to kind of blend in the grey and cut it, but I don't know what happens.
I actually think you'll get away with it. You will. You will. You look all right. Promise. They'll be fine. Honestly, they'll be fine.
They don't promise they're not going to pick on me.
Please don't pick on when she comes on. Okay, in the comment section, right? Please, 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 don't laugh at her. Okay. Go, come on.
No. You took my curls away.
Well, I'm not being funny, love. I mean, that was a disaster. I mean, whichever hairdresser you went to, we shall name them, shame them. But you got comments. You look great, Rogue. There we go. Look, all the comments are coming in. You look great. It's not AI. No, this is definitely her.
This is my hair. They cut all my curls off, and then I asked for them to just blend the grey, and then they just did me all grey. What do I do?
Do you know what? It actually suits you.
No, it doesn't. I look like one of those meme things. I look like Alice. Not Alice, what's her name? Amelia.
Someone says you look younger on here as well.
Really?
I don't know if that's a compliment. I don't know what that means.
Do I? I thought I'm really old.
We haven't got the lights on, studio. Listen,
I'll wait a second.
Yeah.
I'll put the lights on.
She disappeared again. If you're on X, please share the broadcast. And thank you to all our subscribers. Thank you for tuning in again tonight. And our regulars, our family, our viewers, our friends. Don't forget, you can find us on all the social media platforms out there. That is X, Facebook, Twitter. Like, follow, and share, subscribe, and everything else. We'd really appreciate it.
I just can't believe what they've done to my curls.
I'm trying to do a show you.
Sorry.
What your hair like.
I
mean, this is like the Phil and Willoughby show. This is. It's all going tits up. But anyway, yeah, please do follow us on X as well, as much as you can. And we're also on Facebook as well. Now, Rose's got a target of reaching 8,000 by the end of this weekend. Now, we're up to 7,200 on Facebook.
Yeah.
Followers, subscribers, or whatever that is. I don't know Facebook.
Follow us on Facebook.
So please, if you're not following us on Facebook, find us, hit that follow button. And because we're going to be streaming live on Facebook as well soon. The 60 days will be up. And we'll be live on Facebook as well, or Nosebook or Pervbook, whatever you want to call it. We'll be live on there as well.
Why do you call it Pervbook?
Because a lot of people perving, they send you like messages and all, don't they? Like, and trying, years ago when I used to be on there, that's what people used to do. Like, just to send you messages.
Is that because we used to do it?
No.
Is that why you know it's a pervbook? You only know if it's a pervbook if you've actually been perving on people.
This mirroring stuff now. It doesn't work with me. No, I come off because it was like you're too much, especially when in politics as well. You become a target and people can have access to your immediate, and that's not good. You need to protect yourself. Anyway, I didn't send any of those pictures. Like, it wasn't me. I promise you it wasn't me. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. We got a special guest on tonight, and also we can reveal that we may later on in the show be having some guys that have been out on the floor as independent journalists in Davos. Callum Smiles, you may have seen from Vox Pop, I think they're called, has been reporting.
Very funny guy.
Yeah, brilliant. Him and James Heavey have been out on the ground there, speaking to Justin Trudeau, a whole range of people.
Bill Gates,
the evil doctor. So they're going to be coming on a little bit later. But the most important guest of all is in the backstage, and we're bringing him on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, is the wonderful. Rogue's waiting to do it. Oh, she's messing with the technology. No. Here he is. It's Richard Inman.
Yay!
Good evening. How are you?
We're good.
right.
Good evening, Richard Inman. How are you, mate?
Richie, absolutely great. Amelia, your hair's looking fantastic. I thought it was meant to be purple, but Amelia, you're looking great, so don't worry about it.
I just need a choker next, and I need a red flag and just start telling everybody what's what.
That is the
Listen,
Amelia.
Amelia has become the icon of the right. So I mean, you're just there with Amelia.
Should I go purple? Should I do it
Go
purple?
purple. You got it. Next time I come on the show, it's got to be purple.
Okay.
And a Union Jack t-shirt. And a Union Jack t-shirt.
Got it.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, we got all the comments coming in. Richard, just tell us anyway. What have you been up to this week, mate? Busy?
Oh man, I've done that much. I've forgotten.
I understand that.
Honestly, do you know what? I've been doing loads of Bible stuff. I've been doing a breakfast show, and then I've been doing. We're reading through the Bible. My channel are reading through the Bible. Right? We're going to do it. We're going to do it as long as it takes to do it. We're going to do it, and we're doing 4 chapters from the Old Testament. We're doing 1 from the New Testament, 1 from Psalms, 1 from Proverbs, and we'll maybe slip another couple in there somewhere along the line as well. So we've been doing that. Been doing loads of politics stuff. Did something on Australia. Have you seen what's happening in Australia?
No, tell us what's going on.
Oh
in Australia,
man, hate speech. Listen, this is what's happening in Australia is absolutely insane. Because obviously there was the horrendous massacre in Bondi just before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
It's not funny, Rich.
I just can't start.
Sorry.
I can't take it serious without it. I just.
No, there was.
Go on.
There was. How can I come on this show and try and talk about serious stuff?
Okay. All right.
Do you know what I mean? That's there we go. There we go. We knew it.
Okay, let's get to the serious stuff.
Okay. Where's Amelia gone?
Amelia has left the building. She's gone on a protest somewhere with Tommy Robinson.
Do you know what? Honestly, Rock, see if you should have kept that on all the way through, and then next week you should have had the purple one on for Amelia. It would have been absolutely. It would have been classic. It would have been classic. But do you know Paul Thorpe's going to have to stop wearing a wig as well? I mean, his grey wig looks absolutely ridiculous. It really does. But so no, okay. So this is serious. So obviously we all know what happened at Bondi Beach. Absolutely horrendous terrorist attack by ISIS sympathising crazy wacko nutcases. And there's a couple of interesting things even about that case. The hero is this Syrian guy. Right, the hero's a Syrian guy that wrestled the weapon off one of the jihadis. But what the mainstream media is failing to tell everybody is that before the Syrian guy wrestled the weapon off the jihadi, 2 Jewish pensioners had done exactly the same thing and paid for it with their lives. Literally, I don't know how long before. But nobody mentions them. Nobody mentions this Jewish immigrant from Ukraine that had no military experience, grabbed the weapon off this crazy guy, and was shot dead for his trouble. But that's not what I'm talking about tonight. What the Australian government has done now. This guy Albanese, the Australian Prime Minister, he's kind of like if you take Keir Starmer, put him in a time machine, make him even more stupid and even more imbecilic than the real Keir Starmer is, and send him to Australia. That's what Albanese is, or whatever they call him, right? And what he's decided to do in his wisdom is pass hate speech laws. Surprise, surprise. And the reason this is relevant to us, right? Because guess which country was the first country to ban 16-year-olds from going on the interweb? Okay.
Was it Australia?
It was Australia. Wow.
Australia. And they brought it up to you in the UK as well, haven't they?
Yeah, Australia, and now they're rolling out here. Now, this is why I'm so worried about this, right? Because we know that there will be another horrendous terrorist atrocity in the UK. There's that many of these crazy lunatics in the country. One of them will not be able to help himself and will do something either brutal to a young white girl or do something brutal to some of our Jewish neighbours. We know that that's going to happen, right? We don't want it to happen, but we know that that's going to happen. And of course, there'll be a response, and there'll be all the usual pandemonium that happens around that. Now, this is what Albanese's decided to do. Okay, so if you're found to be directing the activities of a hate group, now this is where it gets really. I mean, people misuse the term Orwellian, but this is genuinely, completely Orwellian off the chart, right?
Yeah.
So they will have a minister in the government who's in charge of deciding what groups are hate groups and what groups aren't hate groups. Now, you imagine if Unite the Kingdom was in Australia. Well, I'm pretty sure if there was an Islamist terrorist attack, straight away they'd ban an Islamist group, and then they come in and ban the Unite the Kingdom demonstrations. If we were in Australia, thank goodness we're not. Now, if you're found to have been directing the activities of one of these hate groups, right? If you've been doing it recklessly, I don't know how you can recklessly direct something, but if you've been doing it recklessly, there's a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison.
What? 10
That's
years?
ridiculous.
10 years in prison. Gets better. If you were doing it deliberately, 15 years in prison.
Whoa, my gosh.
Right?
That's
okay. Then it gets even better. If you've been recruiting to one of these hate groups, now you've got to understand, they would literally class Unite the Kingdom as a hate group. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. If you've been recruiting to one of these hate groups, if you do it recklessly, 10 years in prison, intentionally or deliberately, 15 years in prison. Now, now this is where it gets even more sinister. Recruiting for one of these hate groups could be Richie getting on the phone to Richard and saying, "Hey, Richard, what about this meeting at the, in London on the 16th of May? Can we count you in for that?" And I go, "Yeah, that's a great idea, Richie. I'll come to that. You've now just recruited me."
Wow.
So under this legislation in Australia, and again, this is not UK legislation, but follow the thinking on this. Under this legislation in Australia, if we were organising those sort of events and demonstrations, we'd be looking at 10 years and 15 years in prison, respectively. Okay.
Yeah.
If you train anyone for one of these hate groups, say, for instance, you told them how to do media, taught them how to do social media, taught them how to do a YouTube video, same as 10 years, 15 years.
What?
Right? Yeah. And so these are the maximum sentences. Then they've got mandatory sentencing. Okay? So public display of hate symbols. Right? So now,
who decides what these hate symbols are, though?
This is the thing. It is totally subjective. There's no the legislation has been slammed through Parliament in something like 3 days in Australia, right? It is completely off the chart Orwellian. And I can guarantee you, if Keir Starmer gets a sniff of this, he'll be saying, fax, because obviously Keir Starmer's a bit of a retard. He'll be saying, "Albanese, fax me the details." I don't think they probably know how to use email in the government yet. Fax me the details of this legislation. We want it on our statute book. Next time there's a terror attack, I'm convinced that our government will try and pull this on us. So if you have a public display of hate symbols, now that could be, I mean, don't get me wrong, I despise Islamists and I despise Nazis, right? So that could be having a swastika on your bedroom wall, right? If anyone's got a swastika on his bedroom wall, he's just a sad little cretin, right? If anyone's got the Shahada on the bedroom wall, well, you're probably a sad little Islamist, okay?
Yeah.
But if those symbols are visible to the outside world, so if a police car drives past your house and you've got a big swastika and a picture of Adolf Hitler on your wall, they can kick your door in. There's a mandatory sentence immediately. This is not a maximum or a minimum. A mandatory sentence when you go to court of 12 months in prison for having a hate symbol.
So this has been legislated for in Australia. When is this today, Richard?
It's done. It's a done deal. As far as I know, it's certainly cleared. I don't know whether they have two houses in Australia. I don't know whether they have the equivalent of House of Lords. I don't know much about their system, but it's certainly passed. That whatever their main legislator is, it has been passed in their main legislature. So this is on the statute books now in Australia.
Wow.
And they rushed it through. Oh, they took, and also they took a certain amount of, they're taking a certain amount of people's firearms off them as well. Surprise, surprise. Because when they pass Orwellian legislation, they've got to make sure that nobody can fight back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
this is ridiculous.
Well, here the online safety bill that they put into power. I mean, that's having an effect already, isn't it? When trying to silence people and shut people down. But they're going to go further. This government is so hooked on shutting down voices, dissenting voices that speak truth to their power, They don't like us.
No.
And, you know, they're going to come for us. I mean, look, we know this. Mainstream media is failing. The BBC now are going to YouTube. Have you seen that latest as well? They're like, young people aren't watching us anymore, so we're going to go to YouTube, because young people don't, because they know that this bullshit narrative they've been fed by mainstream media. And what's happening in Australia is quite frightening. And first I've heard of it, because that is a very slippery slope to a dictatorship, to tyranny, where a government can tell you what you can and cannot say, because if you say such and such, you will be arrested and given a mandatory sentence of a minimum of 10 flipping years. What is happening in Australia?
That was the maximum sentences on those, you know, the directing activities, so on and so forth. The mandatory was the symbols. But I mean, I'm only dipping my toe in the water. There's a lot more in that bill than that. Pretty much what it would mean is anybody on the right of politics that they want to target, they could target. They can target. Obviously, they're targeting the anti-Semites and they're targeting the Islamists. And look, I'm totally against that. I am one of the biggest supporters of Israel you will ever meet, right? Always have been, right? And I'm unashamedly Zionist, just for all the dribbly Nazis that are watching this show. Well, you've got a Zionist, so you can come and attack here.
The comments are going to go mad, you know, but that's all right.
I know. I am a Zionist, you know. I'm Spartacus, okay? But but without the sandals. But this is really happening. And look, that's what we're up against, guys, and that's the sort of sad facts of what's happening in Australia. But the reason it's so important, because what happens is the Anglosphere countries copy each other. So Canada passed a euthanasia bill, right? The next thing, you've got the UK passing a euthanasia bill. Incidentally, Lord Faulkner, right? The what was he? He was I think he was the chief prosecutor or whatever he was. He was a big wig in Blair's government. Lord Faulkner in the House of Commons, in the House of Lords, put a question down asking and really insisting that women who were 9 months pregnant were allowed to euthanize themselves.
Absolutely.
Just think about that for 1 second. You know, this is a guy that was a very, very senior politician back in Tony Blair's day, right? And he's quite happy. Well, he's not quite happy. He's saying he wants to just make sure that women up to, you know,
9 months,
9 months pregnant can actually euthanize themselves.
Yeah. That's horrendous.
And then, of course, we've also this government that we've had imposed on us also passed the legislation allowing women to abort babies at 9 months. So a woman that's gone full term can now have an abortion.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say these countries, we follow suit. It's true, isn't it? I mean, but if you look at what's happening in the United States of America, Richard, completely different kettle of fish there with Trump. I mean, he's pro-life, right? He's anti-globalist, which we're going to come to tonight on the show, because the breaking news, of course, today he signed an executive order to leave the World Health Organization. I'm going to come to that later. I mean, why can't we learn from Trump's playbook? Because surely what the Americans are having right now is much better under Trump than what they would have had under Biden. But we're going the opposite. We're going more towards the EU. Like Keir Starmer wants to get back into bed with them. We all know that.
Yeah. Can I just really quickly, somebody's just put, how do we push back against all of this then, Richard? That's from Edward. How do we? Like, what can we do?
Well, I think, I mean, I've relaunched, in 2018, myself and a very small team started a project called the UK Freedom Movement. I'm relaunching that this year. We did some really great demos back in 2017, 2018, and I'm going to give legs to that, because I think what we need to do is we need to start, first of all, making people aware of what's going on. Because I literally stumbled into finding out about Australia. Wow. By chance. You know, I did a Google search, you know, okay, what's happening with freedom in the UK? And then this thing that's happening in Australia popped up. No one in the media is talking about it. Because why would they? Because they're all into this. And if you look at what's happened with Trump, I mean, what we need a Trump in the UK.
Yeah, we do.
And I can't get away from the only political party in the UK that's Trumpian and has a chance of getting elected is Advance UK. You know, we cannot trust Farage and Reform.
No. I've seen that.
you know, as much as I love Nick Tenconi, I think he's great. He's a great activist. He's no chance. He hasn't got a snowball's chance in hell of getting elected at the next election, you know. But Ben does. Now, Ben does if Rupert Lowe, you know, puts his big boy pants on and stops, you know, prancing about not making a decision on what he's going to do. If Rupert's going to come and join, advance, come and join. If he's not going to join, okay, go and do your own thing, do your own party.
Yeah.
You know.
I think we've had a lot of people asking us that question. We did on the show last night and night before, because we've been doing quite a few of these lives this week. We've been really busy in Rogue. And a lot of people asking those questions now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's just kind of saying, so what's happening? When is this kind of announcement happening? Because, I mean, he said before the weekend, we're near on coming up to this weekend and we've still heard nothing. Is it game playing? What's going on?
I think, look, Ben threw down the gauntlet. And, you know, I'm almost worried about talking about, I mean, I've no insider track on this at all, and I don't want an insider track on it. So anything I'm saying is pure speculation. But I must admit, this is what I think could be happening. I'm going to be pessimistic here with Rupert, okay? My pessimistic, cynical self says Rupert has not announced anything because he's kicking the can down the road and hoping that somewhere along the line there'll be a little bit of a banana skin that advance will, because every party's going to have a slip somewhere along the line and something's going to go wrong. And I think Rupert's waiting until there's a little bit of a banana skin. Then he's going to go, that lot of rubbish. I'm going to set my own party up with Restore and go. That's what I think. I have very grave misgivings about the people that are surrounding Rupert. I think a lot of them are ethno-nats, hiding in plain sight. They keep talking about nativism. They keep saying things like, you know, you can't have a prime minister that's not born in the UK, etc., which is all, you know, shadow punches at Ben Habib. So I'm concerned about the people that are around Rupert. And my take on it is this, guys, right? If Rupert Lowe sets up his own party, I think that's extremely bad faith. And I think the great British people will look at that and go, do you know what? We don't actually like that, because there's a perfectly good part that really would be splitting the vote. And also, if I'm right about my suspicions about the ethno-nats surrounding Rupert Lowe, then, to be brutally honest with you, if he's listening to them, do we really want him? I'll have nothing to do with ethno-nationalism. It's not my bag. I think it's wrong. I think it's morally wrong. I think it's completely impractical to implement. And I think it's going to alienate a lot of people that naturally would support what we're doing. And if we join together with people that are ethno-nats, like it could be somebody that has a fantastic CV, you know, seems absolutely wonderful. But if they're bought into that, I personally don't want anything to do with it. So that's where I stand on it. You know, and I think
I think it's fair to say, Richard, as well. I mean, a lot of people within Restore Britain, a lot of them are advanced UK members already, all the members of Reform, all the members of the Conservative Party. It's a whole mix, really. So across the political spectrum, they are not potentially people who would support a new political party.
I agree.
You know, so he would literally be dismantling his movement in a sense by switching it, because GPAC was just a think tank that Ben set up, you know, with his team and Claire that runs it and all the great the work they do. I mean, and that's separate from Advance UK. It's kind of like taking a movement, converting it into a political party. I don't think that works. That's my personal take on it. I'm not here to tell Rupert what to do, whatever. You know, it'd be up to Ben to decide. Well, you know, Ben will take anybody's, you know, that is a British citizen, you know, and is able to vote. So we took Tommy Robertson in. You know, I mean, that's what we do. We are the home for the political movement.
I think, I mean, and look, you know, if Ben comes on board, great. Not Ben. Sorry, if Rupert comes on board, great. I think it'd be fantastic, right? But the difference between, and I'm not talking about Rupert because I don't, you see, here's the thing about Rupert. I don't know what his politics are. I don't know what Rupert really believes. Now, we know exactly what Ben believes. We know exactly what Tommy Robertson believes. We know exactly what I believe. I know exactly what you guys believe, because we've been very, very open about what we believe. Okay.
Exactly.
And Tommy and me and you guys and Ben politically are completely aligned. And that's why it would work, and it will work. But if people are going down this nativist road, which is just code for ethno-nationalism and racism, let's just be honest, right? And I understand why people are hacked off with having whiteness insulted and berated, and there is anti-white racism coming from certain race baiters who are black and brown. let's just be honest. We could name them Kehendi Andrews, Narinda, Bushka, or whatever her name is, all those vile people on Twitter that are constantly race baiting. And that other Shola Amabiola or whatever her name is. All these weirdos, right? That are constantly race baiting. We see it with the way the media goes, with advertising. You know, I was watching something last night, and it was a drama, right? And it just came on ITV at like 9:00, and it just, so it was set in the 1950s, right? In an English village, right? And the diversity in that English village in the 1950s was staggering. I didn't know there was that many black and brown people at primary schools in England, in village primary schools in England in the 1950s. And of course, the Church of England vicar was an Asian as well. It's just, this diversity being rammed down our throats is what's driving people to these positions. But my warning is this: the ethno-nat position is untenable. It's morally wrong, and all it's doing is mirroring what the Black Lives Matter people did, what the diversity, equity, inclusion people did, the DEI. And I keep saying DEI must DIE. DEI must DIE. DEI has to die, okay? Because it's poisoning everything. And I want to get back to that great position where we were in 4 or 5 years ago, where everybody was on the same hymn sheet. We were all saying, do you know what? It's the contents of your character, exactly as Martin Luther King Jr. said. It's the context of your character and not the colour of your skin that matters. And that's my fear. Now, I know I talk about it quite a lot. I talk quite a lot about the ethno-nats and why I'm against them. But they're getting a, you know, Andrew Gold didn't do. I mean, what was he playing at? Andrew Gold's car crash interview with Steve Laws. I mean, why give the guy a platform? And if you're going to give him a platform, savage him, for goodness sake. Don't you say, oh, really, Steve? You'd send me to Israel. That's not very nice. You know, have him by the throat and smash his head at the desk a few times, knock some sense into him.
We've had a lot of people ask about Steve Laws. We haven't passed any commentary. We haven't done anything on Steve Laws on the show yet, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of stuff going around. I mean, that interview with him, I mean, what do you make of Steve Laws, mate, yourself? Personally? Steve
Laws is a vile, disgusting racist. I think he's probably a Nazi. He hates Jews. He hates people with brown skin. He wants to send them all out of the country. He actually believes that Britain is great because of the colour of our skin. That's what he believes. Whereas we know why Britain was great. Britain was great because when the Anglo-Saxons invaded the UK and crushed the British Romans and crushed Christianity...
And the Welsh.
Absolutely.
You never forgive you for that.
Well, exactly. Well, I'm not an Anglo-Saxon. I'm Celtic. I'm a mishmash. So I probably get sent to somewhere, Wexford or somewhere like that. But anyway, what they did, the way that the Anglo-Saxons became the English and became civilized is because little Celtic Christians came across from Bangor in Northern Ireland, and they came and settled in places like Iona and Lindisfarne, and they evangelized the Anglo-Saxon kings. They went through the country, and then a little bishop called Augustine came to Kent and started spreading the Roman Catholic faith to the Anglo-Saxon kings. So the Anglo-Saxons, when they came to this country, were savages that worshipped Odin, and they were very much like our friends that are invading the country now. They believed in blood oaths. So in other words, if I killed your brother, you went and killed 3 of my brothers. You know, they were a savage, barbarous people. And they got civilized not because they were white Anglo-Saxons, but because Christianity civilized them. And this is what these atheistic lunatics don't realize, that our DNA is not what makes us great. It is our Christian heritage that makes us great. It is the Christianity that led to the Magna Carta, the Christianity that led to the Reformation in England, the Christianity that led to the Puritans and Oliver Cromwell, the Christianity that led to the settlement. You know, so that's why Britain's great, not because ethnically we're a superior race. It's because we're Christianized. And the British Empire was such a great project because we spread Christian ideals, Christian morals, and Christian democracy, because the democracy we have in the West only works when it's Christians that are voting. Because if it's not Christians voting, you end up with idiots like Keir Starmer in power who want to kill babies up to 9 months and allow Granny to get bumped off if she gets a bit of dementia. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
So this is why this is a real battle line that's been drawn.
Yeah.
And it's between I'm a nativist. I'm a nativist. Oh, I'm a nativist. What the heck's a nativist? You're just proud of your white skin, you numpty.
When you say nativist, it always reminds me of someone who's an chief in Indian with paint on his face. Oh, whoa. Anyway, that's
I'm a native. I'm a native.
I mean, it's one of those things in Martin Luther. It's not the colour of skin; it's the content of your character that matters more. So people should be getting positions based on their merit, not on their
meritocracy.
These quotas that we have, we have to have so many male, so many female. Well, they don't even know what male and female are these days themselves. They can't even work that one out. So let's not go there. I mean, Richie, let's be transparent about the trans thing, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all bonkers. It's all gone back to
transparent about the trans thing.
Yeah, I know. We were thinking about that as a slogan for our show at one point. I mean, transparent. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're gonna come to some stuff in a few seconds because we covered some of it last night on the show as well. But we want to go back to it because, of course, we were looking at some of the stuff in Davos, some of the speeches that were made, and if you saw. I think it was Howard. I can't think of his surname. I think he's one of Trump's allies. Works in the Oval Office. He made an incredible speech. He just tore them a new asshole, basically. Literally, I was going to play the video now. We showed it last night. It's worth showing again because I think it's absolutely outstanding. I want to come back and put some comments on it.
Okay. We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point: globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out.
Well, that was some of the speeches, and I cut into our speeches because we got our friends live in Davos. They're just there now. We've got Callum Smiles and James Heavey. We're just going to bring them on. Guys, Richard's just going to bring these guys on because they're freezing cold. Are they on? Are you there, guys? There you are. Live all the way from Davos. Well, first of all,
I'm all right, brother.
Let me just say, Callum, James, thank you both for covering what's happening there with Vox Pop, guys. Absolutely outstanding coverage. We've been watching it, Rogue, haven't we?
Absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming on too.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate your time, guys. But tell us what's it like over there in Davos. You're on the ground. You've got your microphones straight in faces of some of these big bureaucrats, unelected muppets, want to control the world to their globalist agenda. What's it like, Callum?
Do you know what, right? This has been a very interesting one for me, actually, because, this is the third time I've done the WEF event, but me and a friend of mine who I see here every year, we were both talking on day one about how it actually feels like, and I know this is hard to comprehend, but that there's less money being moved around. So, for example, right, so it's the shops on the promenade get rented out for between 60,000 to 750,000 Swiss francs, and it's almost 1-to-1 franc to pound. Now, there's a big building near the Checkpoint Charlie bit where you if you got the accreditation, you can go into the main WEF building. And Reuters usually have the main building that's there, but this year it was completely empty. Prime real estate for the WEF annual event, and it was completely empty. It just really felt this year like less money was moving.
Okay.
Wow. Well, guys, listen, I know it's really cold out there, isn't it? I can tell. Thanks for everyone to give donations.
I've been short of t-shirt all week.
I know. I was going to say, you've got a crowdfunding page for donations of Callum and you, so we'll post that in our link. I know because you've been asking for clothes. You were out there. You was freezing. Your gloves on.
I was just thinking. Callum must be hard as nails because it looks like he's standing there in a shirt, right? I mean, James has got the full on, jacket and all the rest of it, good old James. But Callum looks like he's just standing there flexing with a shirt on. I mean, I'm impressed, mate. I'm impressed. You're an Arctic warrior.
Well, it's all about, showing dominance to these global elites, isn't it? But unfortunately, no matter how cold it gets now, it's almost like become a bit of a brand. Like, it's okay. So there was someone. It was on Tuesday. I had my t-shirt, but I had a pair of jeans on. And someone who would see me at WEF a few years ago, they came over to me and they're like, initially I thought this person disgusted me, and they looked at me and went, "Where are your shorts?" I was like, oh, God. Right, tomorrow I'll wear them.
You got to wear the shorts. That's it.
Interesting to know, how was your interaction with Farage when he arrived? Because I seen him turn up with his hat on and everything. And did he? In fairness, he did answer your questions. A lot of them don't, do they? But he did, didn't he?
He did, but you know what? I think he dropped the ball. I think. I mean, I genuinely think we've broke well over 10, including like where people have downloaded our videos and stuff. We broke well over 10 million views. Wow. So I think he actually really dropped the ball on the fact that he could have used us as a free platform to basically say, "Hey, everyone, come vote reform." However, the messages I've been getting since then is like, yeah, some people are saying he's one of them, that they don't actually trust him, they think that he's Tory light. I mean, the Robert Jenrick question, okay, I maybe could have gone a bit harder, but I was getting a bit cold by then. My brain was starting to stop working. But, he made the point when I asked about how he's taken on Robert Jenrick and immigration is his main that's what's got him to the top of the polls right now, his immigration policy. Mm-hmm. However, he's taken on Robert Jenrick, who personally procured the asylum seeker hotels. Not only that, he said that rural areas must take more. Now he's saying, but he woke up and he's decided to leave that. Yeah, like 5 years later. I mean, it's easy to join the winning team when everyone's joining.
Not only that as well.
Absolutely.
So while he's doing all these propaganda videos where he's saying he's anti-WEF, he just accepted £1 million from an ex-Tory donor who was a member of the World Economic Forum. I can't remember the exact name, if you remember it.
Was it Ben Hadir or something? Something like that.
Hamia, someone Hamia.
Yeah.
Wow. He just accepted money from a World Economic Forum donor, right? He's well in with the elites. He just wants to be in the big boy club, and he feels like by leading an opposition party, he will join that club, and that's why he's come down to Davos. It's not to it's not to call out the elites or anything. He wants to be part of them. He feels left out. He wants to join them. That's how we see it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you had any interesting encounters at all? Anything that's happened that's been quite dramatic? Because I know you've probably got some video footage to really slate to the public.
Well,
what's been happening?
Well, you know how I don't often wear much clothes. I did have a jumper on yesterday, where it's like my Just Stop Oil jumper, but it's Just Stop the Boats. And an English chap came up to me and firstly, the co-op out here is amazing. They've got like Michelin star restaurants. Anyway,
awesome. It's awesome.
We're in the co-op restaurant. I know it sounds crazy just saying co-op restaurant. And he comes over to me and goes, "So what's that jumper about?" I went, "Oh, it's about stopping illegal immigrants in the UK." Yeah, well, you're fucking racist, mate. Blah, blah. It starts getting in my face. James gets his camera out. He goes to James. I knock him back. Later on, he brings his friends. Little does he know, we're with Billboard Chris, who's basically his old nemesis. I'm now his new one. And he turns up, and it's like all his Christmases have come at once. His old and his new nemesis there. And he starts, a physical altercation. We've got it all on camera. It's going to be going up. But he starts a physical altercation in a restaurant. 20 minutes. God. Half the world's police are here this week, and no police came.
I got punched. I got punched, and it split my tuck open
James.
again. Yeah. I got punched.
That's the second time you, James. You're putting your face too much into left-wing hands, mate. That's what you're doing.
It was good fun. I got a few in myself, so I'm quite happy.
Fortunately, that wasn't on camera.
Nah.
But he swung for Chris. He swung for Callum. He brought his boyfriend turned up, as a drag queen with devil horns on. He admitted to us he was an illegal immigrant who came to Switzerland, was here for 3 years before he became legal, right? And he was expecting us to go, oh, that's okay because you're white. No, we went, no, you should be deported.
Yeah. He goes. You know, I came here. I was an illegal immigrant in Switzerland for 3 years, and then I did the did all the paperwork. What do you think about that? I just went, well, you shouldn't have done it, should you?
It was good fun.
I want to ask you a question quickly while you go on, guys. I know it's called Farage. Didn't he apologise about Tommy Robinson?
He did. Do you know what? The reason we pushed this back is because basically Ezra and the Rebel lot invited us out. You know, they're in having dinner now, and they invited us to join.
Sent him a message. He's supposed to be coming on the show, and he's letting me down. He's letting me down to tell him.
We'll have words in a minute. I'll pass it on. Yeah. I'll pass it on. But oh, sorry. What was the question?
Farage and Tommy.
Yes. I was just talking to Avi about that actually, and because Avi was completely unaware. I was like, that's gone viral. Him apologizing to Tommy, that headline has gone viral. I think we've put. I think not that apologizing to Tommy is a bad thing, but I think his whole interaction this week has really gone against him because he's pissed off those that hate Tommy, and he's also pissed off those that initially went, "Oh yeah, reform are the answer," and now he's gone, "Wait, so you're not going to answer the Nadeem Zahawi vaccine disrespectful answer, and you're taking on Robert Jenrick."
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what about Bill Gates? Because
I was ready to ask that. So, have you seen Bill Gates? And what did you say? Because I'd like to poke him in the eye and a lot more.
So we were now. Most of what happened in Davos, we've seen quite a few comments, yeah, and people are saying, no, there's no way you can bump into these people on the street. You can. It's really easy. Fly to Switzerland and see for yourself. Yeah, this is the best time of the year to get them. Now, everything that happens in Davos is most of all it's gambling. It's luck.
It's fishing.
And we'd come out of the co-op. We'd had a few. What was it? Just a bit to eat, hadn't we?
Yeah, we just had lunch
and we were walking. We were walking and we walked past the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation store that was set up. And I was like, I looked inside. I said, is that someone famous? Like, James, that's Bill fucking Gates. and I'd responded with, yeah, I didn't want to say anything because most of the time I'd gotten it wrong. I didn't want to embarrass myself. So we're like, oh, what do we do? We wait outside for like 10 minutes. He's a bit of a tease, wasn't he? He kept going towards the door and then stepping back in. And then eventually he just walked out. And so that's when Callum got his awesome questions in.
Honestly, it seems like he's got dementia. It's really strange. But at the same time, like whilst I think he's got dementia, as we watch him through this glass window, he's doing what looks like a coherent interview. And then when that guy leaves, the guy who's in the interview with him, he then does this piece to camera. But then when he comes out, the thing that makes me think that there's something not right with him, to the point where some people go, oh, it's a robot or clone. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised these days. But so when he comes out and I'm asking these questions, usually, because I'm pissing these people off, even though they won't say anything, their eyes will go, well, you fuck off. But with him, completely glassed over.
Wow.
And even so walking and his aides went, no, Bill, this way.
It's like Joe Biden. It's seriously
exactly it sounds like Joe Biden.
Like almost soulless, nothing, no life there at all. Like absolutely soulless, like a zombie.
There was nothing behind his eyes.
You didn't bump into this guy, did you?
Not this year, man. We did try, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I really wanted to find him this year.
Yeah, well, he's been there giving Shabana Mahmood some advice on immigration and borders. I mean, you can't get your best, can you? I mean, unbelievable. Like the man who opened the borders. He's the cause of all the problems we're in now. I mean, any other things? What's happening tomorrow in Davos? And when does it end, guys? And what's happening with you guys with Vox Pop? Do you want to give a plug for the show as well for you, what you're doing?
So it's basically over now. I mean, tomorrow it officially ends at 12. But I mean, I'm going to take James into town tomorrow, and he'll see that it's a completely different place because they like I said, they rent out shops. They put these skins on them.
It's incredible, like how much dick swinging is going on up here.
Yeah. Oh my god, like unreal. I mean, they could solve the pothole crisis with 0.1% of the GDP here.
Jeez.
But it's they take everything down stupidly fast. Come Monday morning, it's just a normal sleepy Swiss Alps town. But yeah, so tomorrow it ends officially at 12. I'll be taking James back there to show him around. As for what are we doing? We're currently also working on a documentary in Ireland on TUSLA, which is the Children and Families Agency.
If you want information about that, by the way, there's also vpireland.com, where we have all the latest information regarding that documentary that we've been working on now for about 6 months.
Couple of months, yeah. I mean, we're hoping that. I mean, that should. An
it's
issue
something you'll like, Richard. Actually, funny enough,
yeah.
it is something that you'd find interesting.
An issue we were doing a documentary, but we've got that much. It's now going to be like a docu-series.
Wow.
And we're
That's
also
what happens,
looking at
isn't it?
basically doing like a Welsh tour for the devolved election, devolved government election, because I think that Wales is actually going to be a bit of a litmus test for the general election, which I think will actually be earlier than 2029. But anyway, yes, so we're looking at going to every single constituency in Wales.
Wow.
And if any potential Senedd politician or candidate sees this and wants an interview, we'll happily speak to anyone and everyone.
Fantastic. Rogue, you want to ask them a quick question?
No, I didn't. I'm just excited to have them on, listen to what they're saying.
If people want to find out more on it. Yeah? Oh,
We've got more time if you want. We've got more time.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to rush you guys because Richard as well. Richard, before you jumped on, we were talking about what's happening in Australia, but they've now made hate speech into law. Rich, do you want to give the guys a rundown what you've told us tonight?
Oh yeah. So Albanese, who I think we're talking about clones. I think he's a clone of Keir Starmer put in a time machine some time back and beamed into Australia. He's decided to rush through the most draconian hate speech laws. Now, I'm not going to book because all the viewers have heard this already, but I'll give you a quick top 10 rundown of it so you can see what's coming to the UK. And my prediction is, obviously, this is in response to the Bondi Beach massacre, right? And they've rushed this through the Australian Parliament, and it's the most draconian stuff you'll ever hear. If you're found guilty of directing the activities of a hate group, now remember, under Albanese's regime, the Unite the Kingdom movement would be called a hate group, okay? And that would put me, Tommy, and everybody else that's involved in organising demos in this frame for directing hate groups. It's 10 years in prison if you recklessly direct a hate group. Now, I don't know how you recklessly direct a hate group, but anyway. And if you deliberately direct a hate group, it's 15 years in prison. Now, James knows about this because of the situation that he's found himself in for nothing. What, James, what's happening with that? Can you talk about that? Or is that have we got an embargo on that? Can you talk about what's happening in your case?
I can absolutely talk about that. So for anyone who doesn't know, I was arrested and charged for referring to foreign pedophiles as foreign filth. The argument from left-wing counter-protesters was that white people rape as well, and I said, yes, of course, white people rape as well. We have a massive issue in this country of white people committing rape. We need to do something about it. Why do we need to import more of the same, import more foreign filth? I wasn't calling immigrants foreign filth, I was calling foreign pedophiles foreign filth. I found myself arrested, chucked in a cell for 14 hours, looking at 2 years in prison, and that is all for utilising my right to free speech at a democratically protected protest. I'm on trial now next year in November. It's a 2-day trial. So the first day, because I got a fantastic barrister from the new litigation, the first day is about an abusive process. So if the judge finds there's been an abusive process, an unlawful search, an unlawful arrest, which there was, then all charges will be dismissed. If he doesn't find that, it's going to go to day 2, where I am looking at spending 2 years in prison, 2 years of my life in prison for referring to foreign pedophiles as foreign filth. This is the country we live in. And you mentioned there about 10 years for being the leader of a so-called hate group. You could argue that we kind of already have those laws in the UK with 14 years for supporting a supposed hate group. So that those kind of laws already exist. And, what I'm seeing in Australia at the moment with these kind of legislation, the UK is much worse. If you organise a protest in the same place more than once, the police can ban you, and if you turn up, they'll arrest you. If you protest outside the designated protest area, you can be arrested. If you void a Section 35, which can be given on the belief you might do something, you can be arrested. If you say something that may insult someone who's not even at the protest, can just view it online, you can be arrested and you can spend years of your life in prison.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
So, well,
Callum, we
we're
love
all
you, mate. You're the latest.
We're all
We've got to get you on the show. When you're over in Wales, we've got to get you in the studio.
When
Come
are
on the show.
you? When are you flying back?
Mr. Sim, you got to come. You got to get back over here, guys.
we're flying back tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night, and then I'm back on the.
So where can people? Your social media. Give us a rundown for our viewers here watching. Where can people find you on social media?
Should do yours.
I will follow you both right now. I will follow you both right now. So tell me.
Do you know when I say that I get cautioned by the police? Yet when you say it, it's completely fine.
It's the way she says it. Tracy says it.
It's that tag. You've got to get that tag off Callum before you start saying things like that, mate. You know what it's like.
Come on, Callum.
Yeah.
My current Twitter, as Elon still won't give me back my old account, is at Frankly Speak P. That's the letter P, because I used to have a channel called Frankly Speaking, where I just wanted people to speak frankly about controversial issues. And what's the Vox Populi one?
The Populi Media.
That's one.
Is Vox Populi.
That's where the work is.
Now, my Twitter account was given back to me. My Twitter account was given back to me, so it's James Harvey 2503. Thank you, Elon, for giving me back my account.
Yeah, fantastic. James, just quickly, are you still doing
I followed you.
Are you still doing stuff with Students Against Tyranny? Is that still on the horizon, or is that?
My thing with Students Against Tyranny is that I'm now a 22-year-old bloke who's no longer a student, and I remember being at protests before, massive counter protests against us, and I remember being called James Harvey is against self-identification, but he self-identifies as a student. And it's kind of true, right? So I'm thinking about renaming it to former Students Against Tyranny. We'll see, or Youth Against Tyranny. The thing is, at the moment, I'm moving more in the direction of journalism, right? There is enough activists going on in the UK, and what I can see myself doing is creating change from within, a media outlet like Vox Populi, doing the video production and being an on-screen journalist. I can create more change doing that. It's what I'm good at, and it's what I'm getting better at, and I'm working with fantastic people such as Callum Smiles. So, I think I'm moving more in the direction of journalism. Of course, I'm still going to organise protests, maybe not under the banner of Students Against Tyranny anymore, but
he's a shit student. Look how he spelt Trudeau.
I love
He's had 16 pints of Swiss lager. It's lucky he can even spell Justin.
16 light work, mate. I've had many more than that.
We were joking about his geography the other day because someone said, they were asking about our trips to Ireland, and they went, "Oh, have you been to Northern Ireland?" He went, "Yeah, we went to Cork." You can't get more Southern Ireland than Cork.
The rebel county. If you go to Cork and say you're in Northern Ireland, you will be hung without a shadow of a doubt.
That's hilarious. Well, you need to come and see us when you come back, and then we'll go out and have a few bevies, and we'll have a catch up, and then we'll come up with a show.
Well, how about, so in May as we said, we're going down to film the Welsh general elections. We're going to every constituency, so it'd be great to meet up with you guys while we're down there and do some filming.
Oh, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We'd love that, guys. We can hook in the studio as well and do some studio stuff for you as well.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, what are your predictions for that? I've put 150 quid on Plaid.
Yeah, I don't like to say it, but it's looking very likely will be Plaid Cymru. I think the
I'm a proper Welsh nationalist now, boy. £150 in my pocket.
Those cottages are going to be getting burned everywhere, aren't they? Right the way across the way. Get the English out. Get the English out.
I think at the end of the day, look, it's going to swing to Plaid because Reform is seen a lot in Wales as a kind of London-centric party, shirts and ties, and they're coming into rural areas, and I think people, even though they despise the idea of Welsh independence, I think because we cut our nose off to spite our face financially, be a disaster. I think they're seen them as the only option because Welsh Labour have finished, mate. 2 decades of them, they have screwed the country right up. So people are like, look, the only option is either this party called Reform or, of course, Plaid Cymru. Advanced UK, I can only speak for my discussions with Ben up until now. We're a brand new party, just registered in 6th of December. We don't have enough time to stand candidates in every constituency, but obviously if the opportunity arises, if there's a by-election in the future, we've got local elections here in Wales coming up, we can get candidates ready for that. We look at that then. But I think Reform will implode. They'll be second, but a lot of their seats, there'll be by-elections because they can't govern. They can win elections and campaigns, but they don't have the political philosophy to govern. I think that's what my predictions. The Plaid Cymru, definitely, I think they're going to win it.
I thought reform, because obviously they've changed it now, haven't they? It's now a PR system in the Senate, and I initially thought reform were going to do it until they brought in Zahawi. I honestly think that has what's won it in Wales for Plaid.
It's like what's Farage has done, and he's done it since the Brexit days, is he always gives people hope and then destroys it. I remember my dad saying he was never going to vote for Farage's Farage again, because Farage gave away a lot of his votes to the Conservatives back during the Brexit days, right? And then when Farage popped up with reform, he was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot, and he voted for reform. And then Farage goes and brings people like that on, and
Look at me.
like him, he goes and brings people like that on, and it just absolutely destroys people's hopes, right? It makes you wonder whether he's an establishment plant as well. I mean, he wants to be in the big boy club, but when you've got people like that who are giving the British population hope and then destroying it every again and again, so it disillusions them to British voting. I mean, the amount of people who aren't turning up to elections anymore. Last general election in Wales was what, 40% turnout? People
General was -10.
People don't want to vote anymore, and it's because of people like Farage. I won so much money on that.
Let's turn the questioning around. I'll be the journalist for a moment. What was your guys' favorite video from Davos? I'm always curious to hear that.
I enjoyed the Justin Trudeau one when you asked him about vaccines. I did have the clip in here to show actually, and what's his name's brother, Ed Miliband's brother,
David Miliband, old Millipede.
Yeah, it was brilliant, mate. I showed them on the show last night, on the night before.
We put them all on.
We put them all on, so we wanted people to see, because, and that's why we wanted you guys on, because you're doing an amazing work. We want to highlight it, and we want people to know what you're doing as well. It's fantastic, guys. And we hope we can get you on again, definitely when you're in Wales, and 100%. And I know you look like you're freezing your tits off out there. Brass monkey weather out there, boys,
James is just getting ready to go and do a hit on Steve. I was going to say Steve Jobs. He doesn't have to do a hit on Steve Jobs because he's already dead. He's just going to go and do a hit on Bill Gates. He's getting the hood up. He's going to have the mask on, and that's it.
Yay!
Bill Gates will be gone by in the morning. James,
every time we see someone, I pull the mask up and we start running. Every time.
Thanks for jumping on, guys. Listen, we'll leave you both. I know you're freezing cold, right? Listen, and we'll definitely get you back on again. 100% get you on the show.
Yeah, by all means, anytime. One more thing, look out now. Tomorrow we've got the former editorial of the BBC, the former director of the editorial for the BBC, Kamir Ahmed, or whatever his name was. We managed to ambush him earlier, so we're going to be posting that tomorrow.
Amazing. We look forward to it.
We'll repost it as well, of course. And those of you watching, please follow these guys. Show your support as well.
James, the thing is, before these guys go, James, I've known James for donkey's years, right? And he looks like the cat that's got the cream. He's loving it. He's loving life. He's loving what he's doing. I'm so proud that you know where you are now, James. I think you're doing absolutely brilliant, mate. And literally, just seeing you come on so much in the last few years. Inspirational, mate. Well, and well done, Callum, as well, obviously. But James, I know James personally, so well done, mate. Good to see you, and keep doing what you're doing.
You know what? I'll echo that, because I mean, it's his first Davos. Davos is hectic. Like it's energy sapping. I think we've slept about 20 hours this week.
Wow. It's literally go to bed at midnight and get up at 6 a.m. every morning.
And he's done bloody well. Like, as in, for a first time person, someone.
Well, you see, the thing about James is, what you understand is James has a massive set of you-know-whats. He's not afraid of anything, and he gets stuck in. So you've got a good man at your right hand there, Callum. Good stuff.
Absolutely. And Callum, put some bloody clothes on, will you?
Yeah. Oh, what are you talking about?
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on the Richie Rogue show.
See you soon. Take care.
Soon.
Bye, guys.
That's great.
I know they wanted to stay, right, but they look freezing, love.
They did look freezing, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask more questions, but not yet. I was just wanting to let them talk, and then it was just like, they're funny.
But their energy as well. I mean, given that it's actually freezing out there, fair play. And James, as you say, I mean, when he started Students Against Tyranny, he's grown so much.
Hasn't he? I think it's great. I mean, and so articulate, he's really, really grown. And I mean, I think he's got a great future. And I mean, let's hope that it goes well with the court case, because again, he should never have been arrested. It's absolutely disgusting. Usual story, legal system taking liberties. But Richard, those bedtime hours sound like
I can't see nothing.
Listen, listen. That's absolutely it. That's against animal abuse. I'm against animal abuse, by the way. But the sleep pattern, you see, because I'm doing so much stuff at the minute, I'm kind of doing lives until about midnight or half past midnight. Then I'm up again for the 8 o'clock show, and it's like I get out of bed and there's the hairs all over. I'm like, morning, everyone.
Oh, bless you.
But we're doing it. We're doing it.
Absolutely, mate. Let's go back to this story then, Richard, because of course it feeds into the whole narrative as a believer. Of course, we know about the new world order, as it were. Rogue, can you put some of those clips up on the assets there for me, my love?
Yeah.
This one here, where Trump, obviously today, Trump signed an executive order in the Oval Office, and literally saying we're done with the WHO, we're out of it because we're spending, say, £500 million as opposed to the Chinese only spending 89, and what are we getting for it? I mean, it's the right decision as far as I'm concerned. I wish I know for Advance UK, one of our policies, we would leave the WHO without a shadow of a doubt.
All the supranational bodies. I mean, the UN, the WHO. The only one that's probably worth kind of staying in is NATO, because it gives you the sort of nuclear umbrella, and you kind of, even though we have our own deterrent, but it's not really our own. It's American built and probably controlled, to be honest with you. So I think WHO, UN. The WEF, I mean, how they managed to hold that thing together for so long. I mean, Trump has just literally ripped that apart this week. Absolutely rip it to pieces. Can you imagine? And when Trump was saying things, you could hear all the nervous laughter in the room, couldn't you? It was like being at a Bernard Manning comedy show. Do you know what I mean? You're laughing at it because you're going, "Did he really just say that?" Do you know what I mean? They were those little lefties and those globalists were absolutely. They must have been panicking, and of course. Emmanuel as well. I mean, Emmanuel with the shades on, absolutely fantastic. Old Bridget's obviously been giving him a few right and left hooks, and he's, apparently
I thought he was pitching himself for the next Top Gun movie.
Well, that's it. That's it.
I mean, yeah. So there's a lot been going on in this week. I mean, obviously in the news as well, doing the cycles, but that Australian stuff we spoke about at the start of the show, Richard, absolutely unbelievable. We're going to look into that a bit more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's chilling.
There's a lot more to that, I should imagine.
And I mean, James was saying about the, supporting 14 years supporting hate groups. It's not actually on that. He's wrong. It's 14 years for supporting terrorist groups, which is totally different. A hate group in Australia will be anything that the Minister of Hate, they're actually going to have a Ministry of Hate. You couldn't make it up. The Minister of Hate is going to decide whether you're a hate group or not. And if he decides you're a hate group on Saturday, you do a demo on Sunday, you're in jail on Monday. That's what's going on in Australia.
But I want to, on Trump's announcement of leaving the WHO, right? Here's the response from the actual institute itself. This is what they had to say about Trump pulling out of the WHO.
We see with concerns the announcement to withdraw from the WHO organization by the United States, and we trust that the US administration will consider all this ahead of the formal withdrawal.
作为全球公共卫生领域的权威专业国际机构，世界卫生组织在全球卫生治理当中发挥了中心协调的作用。中方将一如既往地支持世界卫生组织履行职责，深化国际公共卫生合作，加强全球卫生治理。
The World Health Organization regrets the announcement that the United States of America intends to withdraw from the organization. WHO plays a crucial role in protecting the health and security of the world's people, including Americans, by addressing the root causes of disease, building stronger health systems, and detecting, preventing, and responding to health emergencies. We hope the United States will reconsider, and we look forward to engaging in constructive dialogue to maintain the partnership between the United States of America and WHO for the benefit of the health and well-being of millions of people around the globe.
Well, Rich, I mean, when I heard, I did have the video of Trump when he was handed the executive order, but the audio is not playing on it for some reason tonight. So, I mean, he literally just signed it, went, well, nothing to do with them. Because last night on the show, we talked about how we've outsourced so much of this country when it comes to medicines, food, and all that kind of stuff, and we're importing so much stuff. And to make your country great, you have to take back full sovereignty, and you have to have borders. You're not a country without borders. And I think Trump obviously has been a great champion of that, as you know, over the years. And I think the WHO are a threat to that. And now they see them starting to implode, just like the EU is beginning to implode, with loads of the countries leaving, like Poland, Hungary, all these countries are realizing there's no benefit anymore. It's costing them more money to be in the club than what they're getting out of it. Trump's recognized that, what Americans were paying into the WHO. In fact, I think Trump owes them about $400 million apparently. And he's like, I'm not paying it. We're out. I'm not even going to pay it. I mean, why are we part of this? What is the point? Because these are unelected people, in the WHO we know about, many of which are in Davos at the moment. What's it all about, mate?
Well, I think it goes back, all of this goes back to the late 1950s, early 1960s, and this whole doctrine that infected pretty much every Western European country, that the reason that there was the Second World War and the Holocaust and everything else was because of the nation state, not because of fascism, not because of some crazy ideology from Adolf Hitler and Mussolini, and not because of the horrors of communism. No, the problem was nationalism, and they made that decision, and then we had successive British governments, probably from Harold Macmillan onwards, who were managing decline of the empire, managing decline of the UK. And okay, Maggie came in, and you say, I'm not a mega fan of Maggie either, because Maggie was a globalist. I mean, Maggie was massively into global trade. So we've had 70 years of it getting worse and worse and worse. All the institutions are totally compromised. They're totally taken over and controlled by globalists, communists, and now Islamists as well. So we have got a massive, and what Trump managed to do was, when Trump got power, the first term, he tried to do everything that he's doing now, but he couldn't do it because he didn't have the people in the positions of authority in all those institutions in the United States. He's managed to create, and this is what any party that's going to be the next government has to create, a shadow government of people that can go in and take over the various parts of the judiciary, the civil service, the military, the police, etc., etc. And because at the moment they've been captured by leftist, globalist, communist nutcases. That's what's happened, and that needs to be taken back. And we can see that by the if you look at the Prevent program. The Prevent program's a prime example. It says that cultural nationalists, in other words, us, because we're cultural nationalists, we believe in Christian culture and we're nationalists. We are a threat to national security, along with the white supremacists and the Islamists. So we've got a massive battle on our hands, and reform, sadly for the country, because people are still being duped because the mainstream media and GB News are still pumping the reform lie. Reform are not going to do what needs to be done. And the only party out there that currently can do that is Advance UK. It's as simple as that. So what we've got to do, and I'm like a broken record, I just keep going back and back to it. Advance UK, we have to get behind them. We have to support them. We have to make it work. There's going to be bumps in the road. There always is in a political party. There's personalities, there's differences of opinion, whatever. That's always going to happen. But at the end of the day, we've got to look at the big prize and the big goal and say, do you know what? We'll just get behind Ben. But Ben and the leadership obviously have to do a huge amount of work as well, because they have to create that shadow government. I mean, I haven't seen the immigration policy, but I can imagine what's in it, and I'm sure it's going to be great. But here's the thing.
Are you there on the 7th? Are you coming?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll be there.
We're going to be there too. So it'd be great to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to be filming it. So I've been invited to be press on the day. So I'm chuffed to bits about that. So you're doing it as well. Yeah, good stuff. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
You to be invited press. Hang on a minute. Hang on. You to be invited press. I've had to pay for a bloody ticket. What's going on here? How do you pull that
Well,
off?
Richie, do you know what it is? It's not what you know, it's who you know, mate.
Exactly
that's
that,
what it is.
darling.
I don't mind.
You're on the naughty step, mate. You know what I mean? So-
I must be.
the thing is, do you know the thing is, it's normally me on the naughty step, so it's a bit refreshing that I've actually got a fez pass. Do you know what I mean?
They probably got the wrong Richard. That's what it is.
That's what it is. No, it's not. No.
That's
Yeah, it's going to be great because Tommy's going to be there as well. I
Yeah.
know Liam plan on being there with Simon as well. His team is. We're looking forward to being there.
It's
meeting
gonna
so
be.
many friends.
It's gonna be an absolutely amazing day, and you know, I'm really looking forward to that. Getting back to what I was saying. Getting back to what I was saying about about executing. Let's just take the immigration policy, okay? Look at what's happened in the States with ICE, right?
Yeah.
Now, in many ways, doing what Trump's trying to do with ICE is far easier than doing what we'll have to do with our immigration policy. If we and I don't know it, so this is me speculating. So I'm not speaking. I always qualify everything. I am not a spokesman for Advanced UK. I am a member. That's it. Who has a very opinionated member, right? But if we say that we're going to start deporting Islamic terrorists or rape gangs or whatever it is, we're going to be starting getting rid of these really bad people, criminals, illegals. We're going to round them up. We're going to put them in camps, and then we're going to take them out of the country. I don't know if that's what's proposed, but let's say that was proposed.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot more problematic doing it in Bradford, Birmingham, and parts of Tower Hamlets than it is doing it in Minneapolis. So these are questions that Ben, if that is a policy, these are questions that Ben and the team that are leading Advance have to look at, and you have to say, okay, do we have to raise a military force like ICE that goes into those areas and does that work? Because it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be pleasant, and that's what people have got to prepare themselves for. I mean, I think to get rid of the illegals, especially people who are trying to take over our country and impose Sharia law, to do that has to be done. But I think what voters have to realise, and what Advance have to realise, and Reform have to realise, if they're going to do it, which I don't think they would, that it's going to be extremely, extremely messy and extremely difficult, and people have got to realise that there will be a massive kickback from those communities that are going to be feeling victimised, and whoever is in power has to have the balls to basically do it, to do what needs to be done, and that's just one policy. We could look at energy. Trump nailed it the other day. He said, "What are you doing? You've got a North Sea full of gas and oil, and you're banning people from exploring it and charging people 92% to pull it out of the ground." You know, there's a lot needs to be looked at. There's a lot need to be done. It's a massive job. We've got 3 years to get ready for it, but that's why I'm doing 18-hour days at the minute, because I want to be preparing people spiritually, preparing people with a political philosophy and an ideology, so that people know why it's a good idea to vote for Advance UK. And I think, just touching on this on the spiritual side of things, the reason I'm doing all the Bible stuff, if we win the UK spiritually, we'll win it politically, because spirituality is upstream of culture. Culture is upstream of politics, and politics really is the lowest common denominator. So if we get the spirituality right, then the culture will be right, then you'll get a good government. You'll get good governance. And that's why, you know, this, like, we're all spinning so many plates, guys. It's just like, you know.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Sometimes you not just feel like that. It is knackering. I sit there and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just need a breather. I need just to kind of get my head together, because you're talking to so many different people with so many different opinions, and then it's trying to ensure that this country is running right and making sure we're backing the right party. And even that's quite heavy, because sometimes you can see things going wrong and you're like, oh, I don't like that. Or, you know, like people who I've read about 15 messages in the last week saying, I was a complete avid supporter of Farage, and now I'm no longer sure. Now that's really kind of big of them, you know, that's really good of them to say, look, do you know what? I have been championing him on and backing his corner, and now I'm having to withdraw because, do you know what? This doesn't sit right. And even that is just like, my God, you know, we just want to get it so right for this country, because we are in the darkest of days that I have ever seen. And spiritually, like you said, That is the most important thing to hold sacred. And you know what? That word sacred is just one of the most incredible words, because when you hold something sacred, you are keeping it close and nothing will enter into that, because you're holding it and keeping it safe. And that has to be your connection with God. That has to be your connection with the Christ consciousness. That has to be the connection with yourself. If you don't believe in God, you know, it has to be within you to keep that safe. But the external shit, it gets knackering, and we all need to protect each other, and we all need to pray for each other, and we all need to give each other time to have that respite and just to breathe. Like you've got some of your guys on here just saying, Rich, take a breath. You know, you literally need to look after yourself.
You do, mate.
Do you know what? I'm going to listen. I've been at this full tilt since 2017. I haven't taken any rest, no breath, and I'm in it for the long haul. You get plenty of rest when you're dead.
There is that. There is that.
Life's too short to be bored. You know what I mean? So no, we just keep going. We keep pressing on, and I mean, there's a lot to do. I think they're the best of times and the worst of times. It's very exciting to be alive now. You know, and we look at all the negative stuff, but I believe the spiritual thing will become the biggest issue in Britain in the next few years, and it will literally a clash between light and darkness, between good and evil. And I think we're seeing the battle lines drawn. We're seeing people dividing into different camps, and you know, I'm very confident that the ideology that I hold is the correct ideology. I mean, the pledge, you know, I keep going back to pledge. We're talking about different groups and so on and so forth. The pledge is basically an ideology, a spiritual and political philosophy for our movement. And you know, that was why it was written. And really, the truth of the matter is that Advanced UK, if you look at their mission statement, it could be lifted word for word from the pledge. And that's why I'm so committed to advance. Unite the Kingdom's the same. So we've got these three streams running together, and then we've got the spiritual, the other thing is, if somebody comes and tries to control the spiritual, they're going to come massively unstuck very, very quickly, because it's not possible to control the spiritual realm. You can't do it. You know, only God controls that. So I think it's massively exciting, and we've all been through battles. And I think that's made us a lot tougher and a lot more resilient. And I'm really positive about this year. And I think we've it's all there to play for. It's really all there to play for.
Yeah. See, sometimes we can become apathetic, because there are so many distractions, and in that distraction, you kind of like confusion kicks in, and it's like, where do I go? Which one am I needing to, you know, resolve first, or which one am I needing to back first? But as long as we hold on to, like you said, that kind of connection and that spiritual, your ideology, whatever, you know, connection with God, you know, your relationship, you know, once that is actually in place and you have that footing, I think then everything has a bit more clarity. And when you have more clarity, you can start to look at things less apathetically, but also you can start to put out the fires that are burning, because you have direction and you have peace. And peace is so essential in this day and age. And I strive for that. And sometimes, you know, I'm kind of like, I miss you, God, or I miss me. Actually, because you can miss yourself, because you can be so like fired up and worn down in what you're doing for everybody else, or like, you know, so what you're investing in, that you can forget you. And we are important, you know, and it's so, I just think it's just a necessity to look after ourselves, so we can look after each other, and we can all do what we need to do.
It's like, it's the storm around you, whether it's political or spiritual. There's always storms around us, right? Always chaos going on in people's lives. And I think in the middle of that chaos and those storms, you can find inner peace. The faith that we have, Richard, and you know, we know this, and Rogue as well. We can be in the middle of the most incredible storm, like when I'm talking about circumstances of life, but yet we find peace and solidarity, a deep-rooted faith. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have. And you know, it's a lifelong discovery for some people. Some people, some of our viewers here, they're all on different journeys, aren't they? They're all different places on that journey. And I think the fact we can talk about this openly more publicly on these forums now is important, because we're bringing God and politics together, because politics is the best it is without God. That's what it is. And, until the government's on his shoulders, then we'll never have a perfect government. But if we've got politicians that have those Christ or Christian values or Christian culture, then that's what will make our nation, as Richard, you alluded to earlier, that's what made our nation great.
I just want to talk about, though, there was a church service and ICE, not ICE, it's the church, and then the left came in. Is that the video you've got? And they literally started bombarding people. So imagine you're in your sacred space, praying, talking to God, and then you have got the leftists with cameras in your face and actually being really antagonistic. Have a look at it.
I'd have been casting some demons out with left and right.
Well, this clip that Rose just rolled in here is actually Sheridan Baptist Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been in touch with the pastor, not of this church, but of a neighboring church, who has told us, we've seen on X as well, that the Inman is preparing to go to take up arms, because obviously in America they're allowed to carry guns and stuff, to take up arms to fight against the churches that are saying that the churches are far right because they're supporting ICE agents, right? So these left-wing protesters went into the service. So this pastor we've been in touch with has agreed to come on our show. We haven't nailed down a date yet, so please watch out for that, folks, because he's worked very closely with the former mayor of New York, Giuliani. I think he's his spiritual kind of pastor, whatever. So that would be great to have someone like that on the show, because he's there firsthand and he's fighting against the Islamists in America. So are many of the Republican senators as well. They're banning Sharia law across America, which we need to do here as well, because it does exist. But use the clip Roll just pitched there. Now just watch this.
So you can see the protesters here have gathered over here. They're in the middle of the church. So in the beginning of the church service, the pastor was speaking, and Nakima stood up and said her piece, and then the protesters surrounded her. But this is a clandestine mission. I think they found out according to them, this is according to Operation Pull-Up, that one of the pastors here is a member of ICE. And so here we go.
You could talk to the lead pastor.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Okay. So
it's gross.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you've seen that clip, Richard, did you?
Yeah, I had seen it, and I thought at the time, if I'm not kidding, if they came into the church I go to and tried that, they would run screaming from the church, and there'd be a mob of very angry men chasing them up the street. They wouldn't get away with that in my church.
Yeah.
They would have
the scripture. It'd be the laying on of hands, but in a different kind of way.
It would have been the laying on of hands. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding about that. I'm serious about that. And anyone, and my pastor would be leading the charge.
Yeah.
Good on him. Talking about angry men.
Yes.
Lawrence Fox.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that today. We just came into the studio, literally, and I went on my phone, and Lawrence Fox posted something on his X account. Something happened in his school. I just want to play this video, and we'll be right back. Listen to this. 1 second, we get it up.
Yeah, that works out for you in the end. So I wrote very clearly to the school to say, I do not consent for any medical interventions other than, emergency ones to be administered to my children at school. I don't, it's a choice for the parents or hospital. So they have on record me saying that, the school, right?
We lost it. Okay, let's go back. Sorry about that. We're losing the picture there, guys. 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's take it. Right. So basically, Richard, apologies for that, guys. It's a Wi-Fi issue in the road. We have that from time to time. And his son came home from school, and I know both his children. I've stayed at his. They're lovely kids. And he had written to the school and told them under no circumstances should my children have any medical intervention for anything.
Vaccines,
without my consent.
Yeah.
And they've gone ahead and jabbed one of his children without his consent, and he is and rightly so, right? I'm going to drop a message later. It's absolutely gross what they've done. His son's come home, and in the video, if you go to his X account, folks, and look at Loza Fox, you'll find it on there.
nosebleed, really poorly, really not well at all, and they've had to call him in to actually bring him home. And then it transpired that they'd actually jabbed him, and they had to reveal that they had jabbed him, and which is why he might be having a reaction. It is the most disgusting. I mean, how invasive is that? It is an invasion of oh my God, I just can't even get my head around it.
I mean, I could feel his anger, and, you know, and I felt it with him. I thought, like, what school is that? You know, and it's in London, obviously, somewhere, but you know, it's like, what, your child goes to school and comes home and says, I've been jabbed, and starts having a bleeding nose without parental consent. Like, I mean, this is what's been happening. We saw it during COVID. Obviously, they wanted to push it, make it mandatory for children, bringing the age down. You know, it was the elderly first, then right down. And all of a sudden, it's children, but they're still doing it, man. And this has got to stop, Richard, isn't it?
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, you know, I'm ashamed. I had jabs during the COVID thing. I had to travel for work, and I was like, oh yeah, just stick it in my arm, whatever. But I didn't have any real adverse reactions. But I regret doing it on principle now, because I feel I really let the side down by doing that. And it was I didn't really want to have them for all sorts of reasons. And but again, it just shows that we can sometimes bend under pressure, and you know. So the fact that his child's been coerced into having a treatment that his father doesn't want is absolutely reprehensible. Do we know what sort of jab it was? Was it a COVID jab, or what was it?
I think he's not entirely sure, because in the video clip, if you watch it, he might be for HPV or something like that.
He doesn't even know himself. So he's having to ask the questions. And so he's having to go to school tomorrow to fix this, because it's unbelievably disgusting. How did you feel after you had the COVID jabs?
Well, I mean, the first one, I had a reaction because I just had COVID. So I mean, I did have a reaction to that, but the rest of them, I didn't. You know, I had no reaction to them. But I felt really disappointed in myself that I'd had even one jab. You know, so I was very, you know, very annoyed with myself. And again, it's like everything. We all have regrets, don't we? But yeah, it wasn't one of my you know, best moments, and it was just for ease to be able, because I had to go abroad with business, you know, had to travel with business, and you could then you couldn't, you know, they're saying you could, no, and then when I got to, I mean, I had to go to Amsterdam on business. When I got to Amsterdam, they didn't even look at the COVID documentation. So it's, you know. So again, you know, you learn though, don't you? You learn when you do something that you really regret, you're never going to do it again. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, but
because there was talk, you know, sort of after people had the jab, that it was affecting like their pineal glands, and that actually they felt like this kind of lack and this kind of disconnect from their spiritual kind of world and their spiritual connection with God. Did you feel anything at all?
Not like that. No, but well, then again, I wasn't exactly walking with God when I had the jabs anyway. So you know, you know, there was a big spiritual problem in my life then, and yeah, we're not going to the confessional, but you know what I mean. There was a lot going on. So so if I'd have been walking with God, I don't think I would have had the jab, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know, do I think it's cut me off from God? No, I don't. Not for 1 minute.
No, of course not.
But, I was going to say, actually, Richard, on that, actually, on February the 11th, Wednesday night show, we've got Andrew Bridgen coming on. If you remember, he was expelled from the Conservative Party. He's been the only MP to stand up in the House of Commons at the time and say that there were harms being caused, that the vaccines causing harms to people, and this has to stop. There has to be an inquiry. He was the one that called for a public inquiry in the post office scandal. Do you know, he's never been called to a public inquiry, yet he was the one instigated, I think it was 3 altogether, the grooming gangs as well.
Yeah, and Andrew had the jabs. Andrew was jabbed as well. Yeah, he had the jabs, and that's why he started protesting against them, because he knew there was something not right about them. But he'd had jabs.
I mean, he was interviewed recently talking about
and
how many.
I tell the other person who had jabs that never recovered was the guy that used to do GB News. Oh yeah,
the news presenter. He used to be on.
He was great
Sky
guy. Mark Stein. No, Mark Stein. Mark Stein. Yeah, Mark Stein had. You know, he was again coerced them because he had vulnerable people in his family, and that was the other thing. It was, you know, you don't have the jabs, you're going to kill your parents.
Yeah.
You know,
and
the reality is, you know, I should have known, because I've been fighting against the system since 2017. I knew exactly what they were like, but for some reason on that, because I was so engaged on the Islamization of the UK thing, Like the COVID thing, I was like, oh, like I can't even get my head around any more corruption. I just had, and I just kind of went with the flow on it. So, but they've destroyed a lot of people's lives with those jabs,
I have.
and
Mm.
very, very, very evil, and and I think if it ever happened again, there's no way that I would take a jab for anything.
It's like people are wearing masks at the moment. That this new flu epidemic, everybody now starting to wear masks. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we all catch colds. It's real. And flu completely vanished when COVID was there. But now all of a sudden we have a flu pandemic and everybody's wearing masks again. There's no need.
Nope.
It winds me up.
I mean, it goes back to China, isn't it? I mean, we know that it was released. It was all, this is my opinion. I take Trump's taking it. It was they had the vaccine ready before they released the virus. Okay.
Yeah.
And literally, because if you remember, within 24 hours, they were like, "We've got a vaccine." Well, you don't create a vaccine without having gone through approval and testing for months or weeks or years, even, Richard, as you say. So they had it ready to go. Soon as COVID hit, now that tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, I think.
Go on.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, the Chinese Communist Party. I believe the British government has been controlled by the Chinese Communist Party and has been since David Cameron.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, and you think about it. We talked on the show last night, and yet we've got this Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. He's just given the green light on the largest embassy in the whole of Europe for the Chinese government to be built in the capital. Well, it's already there, this old Royal Mint, in it, which is a British institution in our capital city. But it's not just Labour. It was Boris Johnson who sold that to the Chinese when he was Foreign Secretary, then became Prime Minister 10 years prior. And Labour pursued this kind of idea that China needs a bigger presence because we're trading so much with them on the economy. So let's give them a supersized, the largest, embassy in the whole of Europe. Yeah. And this is a country that's renowned for its espionage, for torture of its people, for disregarding human rights completely. And we have people here from Hong Kong who fled for their lives, who protested against the Chinese regime. They're living in the UK and they're fearing for their lives over this because they've got unlabeled rooms in this embassy that no one knows what they're for. No one's been told, Richard.
Absolutely. And I mean, the Chinese Communist Party, absolutely, we know for a fact that they had a massive amount of influence over David Cameron. David Cameron, when he left office, worked for the Chinese Communist Party, selling the Belt and Road Initiative round the world. And he was the worst salesman ever. I don't think he closed one deal, but that's what he did for 2 years, Yeah. So George Osborne was in it up to his neck. Hunt was in it up to his neck. I did say Hunt there. And, the same as...
I remember that clip. You remember that clip was on the TV when someone said his name and called him, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think there's definitely somebody very senior in the Labour Party, well, at least one person, probably a lot more than one, who are Chinese Communist Party assets, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the only explanation for the Chagos deal. It's the only explanation for the Chinese embassy, and the fact that the Chinese government and the Chinese Communist Party have a major stake in our nuclear infrastructure, which is great to know, isn't it?
I know. Richard, our time's nearly up, right? But before we go, are you doing your breakfast show tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be doing a breakfast show. Go across to Counter Media UK on YouTube and dive on there. I mean, I'm trying to get people across. I've got a channel on YouTube that's got 50,000 subscribers. It's demonetized. It's like Tommy's. I mean, we all got vaporized back in 2018. We all got our monetization cancelled. So if you're on the Richard Inman channel, get across from the Richard Inman channel to Counter Media UK. And that's a monetized channel, so it just means I get a few quid, about 50 pence a month for Google ads appearing in my.
Well, I'm going to plug that. So if our viewers are watching, because I know we crossed over tonight, Rich, we got some of your viewers. I know you posted your channel as well. Please go for breakfast tomorrow with Richard. What time do you start, Rich?
8 o'clock. I mean, I've got to get off here. I've got to drop my son somewhere, and then I've got to do the Bible reading. So it's meant to be 8 o'clock, but that might slip tomorrow. We'll see. I'll maybe have a lie in and do 8:30. I'll decide in the morning. It's not. I've done 8 o'clock. religiously for since I think October or something like that, but it might slip a little bit. Well, actually, no, I tell a lie. I started doing it at 7 o'clock, and that literally nearly killed me because I was getting up at 5 to do this.
I don't know how you even did that.
I was going to bed at 2 in the morning and then getting up at 5 to get ready for the breakfast show at 7. So I'm not. I'm not going to be doing that. So it's 8 o'clock. It'll be 8 o'clock.
Time to breathe, man.
Yeah.
Counter media.
So folks, make sure you go there, and if you're watching on X as well, of course, we've got a lot of viewers on X as well. Please do that. Tune into Richard's Breakfast Show. It's very inspirational, of course, and you get plenty of prayer and advice. And some of the stuff that Richard shares in as well is really quality as well. You know, it's advice from Scripture, but
it's how to applicate it in life.
It's applicable to people's lives, and that's what people need. They don't need an ancient book that they don't understand, but Richard brings that sense of, you know, you do, Richard, don't you? You explain
hopefully,
a lot.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, when I do the Bible readings, I break up the Bible readings, just doing a bit of an exposition of what it is that we're actually reading. So I'll read a few verses and I'll say, look, this is showing Jesus in the book of Exodus, or, you know, look, there's the Passover lamb, Jesus the Passover lamb, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make the book live for people. That's when I do the Bible readings late at night. And I think half the people are kind of falling asleep. When it gets to midnight, you still read the Bible to them. They kind of...
Well, there's lots of love on the comments here, Richard, for you. A lot of people saying, oh, fantastic. And they love following your breakfast show. They love your podcast. They love what you're doing, mate. So, I mean, we love you as well. You know that anyway.
No, likewise. And look, do you know what? Do you know one of the things I like about this? We've got this, there's people in this movement that I really, really like. James Harvey. James, honestly, I mean, James a few years ago, like, you wouldn't, if you met James a few years ago, you wouldn't think that he'd be as articulate and as you know, he's just come on so much, and it's amazing because it shows just such a steep curve of improvement in James, and he's so articulate now, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So love James to bits. You two guys are fantastic. Love you guys. You're doing a great job. Obviously, my old mucker Paul Thorpe, he'll be getting jealous if I spend too much time on other people's podcasts.
You've got to mention Paul Thorpe, mate.
Yeah, I've got to mention Paul. You know, and there's so much good stuff going on at the minute, and all the people, the names popping up on that. Claire Bear has, you know, done so much work in the background on UK Freedom Movement and on the Pledge and on my two channels. You know, there's Bess, there's Farty Pants, there's loads of really good people helping me out. So we've got a good team. We got a really
absolutely.
good
I
team.
just want to say a big shout out to Claire on ours tonight. She's moderated for us tonight.
Moderated for us tonight as well. So
don't you be stealing her. Don't you be stealing Claire.
We're borrowing her. We're sharing her.
That was Rogue. I had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
I know.
So, Richard, we'll get you back on soon, mate. And,
let's do it again. And again, thanks, guys. Really enjoyed that.
If we don't see you before, we'll see you on the 10th of February.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was literally just breaking news before I came on the show. So it's the first time. You know, nobody else knows that apart from you two guys. Nobody else knows.
So if you missed that, guys, as well, Richard broke the news about what's happening in Australia earlier in the show. So please go back if you're watching the live and check it out, because you need to hear this. It is absolutely you just think, no, that can't be real, but it is. So make sure you check that out. Richard, thank you, mate. We love you, Lord.
Yes, guys. Okay, see you guys. Adios.
Bye bye.
Yeah, we love it.
I've really enjoyed the show tonight.
It's been different, isn't it? It's been great.
It's been like, do you know what? That Callum and
the
James.
energy.
I swear down. They put my ADHD to shame.
I know.
They're like, what? And I'm like, whoa.
I know.
I'm sitting in awe at their amazing
I'm jealous
energy.
over in Davos, though. I mean, that's, mind you, it looks cold. I don't like cold countries, though. I like warm countries.
You like
I don't
warm
like cold.
countries.
Yeah, I do. But we're a blessing for them to come on the show, though.
It was great. I know.
And they're coming to Wales as well. So
I know.
we'll hook up with them.
Yeah, it'd be really good.
He's already messaged as well. He wants to meet you. They never want to meet me. And so we Rogue. I'm like, can I come along, please? please. But yeah, so thanks you guys for Smiles and James Harvey tonight. And of course, our wonderful friend, Richard Inman. Always a pleasure to have him on the show. But more importantly, thank you for watching tonight.
Love, grace, peace, joy to you all. Thank you so much.
Do you want to tell us about what's happening Saturday for when we're on next?
Okay, so Saturday we are doing a brunch at 10:30, and we're doing it from a secret location, but we're doing it live. And we are just going to be talking about real life things. We're going to be talking about life, love, gossip, and
the newspapers. But I'm not paying 12 quid for 4 or 5 newspapers again. We're going to download them instead. They're free, like, well, an idiot I was there. And for those of you who missed it, if you missed the beginning of the show, right, we were late on air tonight because Rogue had her hair done. That's all I'm going to say. And I think
you'll have to go back to the beginning to see.
You'll have to go back to the beginning to watch that.
Yeah.
We just want to say a huge big thank you, though, to all of our followers, to those who support us as well. If you want to support the channel, she's doing now. If you want to support the channel so I can get her feet off the table because we need a new one, please scan the QR code that's on the top left or right-hand side of your screen, and you can leave a small donation for my counselling. That'd be fantastic. That'd be great. I would really appreciate it very much. What are you doing?
I just getting comfy.
Getting comfy,
guys.
Yeah, but we thank you all for coming on the show tonight, and our guests as well. And don't forget, please follow our YouTube page, because we want to hit that magic number, don't we, Rogue? You can find it there.
That's Facebook as well.
Facebook, I was on about, sorry.
You said YouTube.
YouTube, sorry, on Facebook.
Please follow up.
Richie and Rogue Unfiltered. Any donation will go to help what we're doing here in the studio and to have more space and better cameras and everything else, so we can bring you the best quality that's out there. And by the way, I want to slip this in towards the end of the show while we've got our viewers on. We were in Liverpool today, weren't we?
We were.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, now this is getting serious.
Yeah.
We've got something special.
We have indeed. We can't say too much.
But we can't tell you yet.
We can't tell you what it is, but something big is happening.
Big.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. It's going
And
to be
you
amazing.
guys are going to be part of it, and you guys are going to love it.
Yeah, we've been speaking to some very important people, haven't we? Yes, and that's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
We're
going to leave you with that.
We're going to do a Rupert Lowe. We're going to leave you guess.
Yeah. We'll need to take a moment and think it over the weekend, and then maybe we'll tell you after the weekend.
Maybe come back Saturday morning. We might give you a little bit more information. But you've got to come back Saturday at 10:30 here live on Richie and Rogue. Well, it's good night for me.
And it's a good night for me.